Mommy's Little Sissy Part 2. When they finally got home, Beth helped Mommy carry everything into his room. It took them 3 trips to get it all. Afterwards, Betsy told him to watch her sit down on the edge of the bed. She smoothed her dress behind her as she sat down. "Now you do it the same way, darling," she instructed him. He did as she told him and she smiled down at him. "That's right, sweetheart," she said. "That way your pretty dresses and petticoats won't get all wrinkled. Always remember to do that when you sit down. And keep your knees and feet together like a nice girl, too. Soon you'll learn a lot of girl manners and habits. You want to be a nice girl for Mommy, don't you?" "But Mommy," he said, "I wanna be a boy." "Why do you want me to be a girl?" "Because girls are nicer and prettier, dear," she replied. "Don't worry, sweetheart. Soon you'll be glad Mommy turned you into a girl. It's for your own good, dear. Mommy knows what's best for you, sweetheart. Do you like wearing a dress just like Mommy's?" "No, Mommy," he answered. "It makes me feel like a sissy." She put her arm around his shoulders, bent her head down and kissed his cheek. "Well, I like my pretty boy wearing a dress like his Mommy's." "After a while you will too," said Betsy, smiling at him. "Mommy," he asked in a puzzled tone, "am I a sissy?" "Yes, dear," said Betsy, "but maybe someday Mommy will have a doctor turn you into a real girl. Would you like that?" "A real girl, Mommy?" he asked, shaken right down to his white strap shoes. "Yes, honey," replied Betsy. "Then you would grow up into a pretty young lady, and you'll become a grown-up lady like Mommy when you get older. Would you like to grow up and look like Mommy?" Gosh! He hadn't realized that Mommy wanted him to dress and act like a girl forever. He thought it was just for the summer. He thought about that for a while. He also wondered again why she liked him wearing a dress just like hers. "No, Mommy," he answered. "You're very pretty, but I don't like looking pretty." "Honey, let's go back upstairs for a couple of minutes," said Betsy. "Yes, Mommy," he replied, and got up from the couch, wondering why she hadn't answered him. "Beth dear, always remember to shake your dress and petticoat after you've been sitting down. Like this, dear." She shook her dress and petticoats to make them fluff up nice. He did the same thing and Betsy smiled down at him. "Oh, I just know my little boy is going to love being Mommy's pretty little girl soon." She took his hand and they went up the wide staircase together. Inside her bedroom, one of the big sliding doors on her closet was entirely covered by an extra wide full-length mirror. She led him over to it and stood a little to the side and in back of him with her arm around his shoulders. "See, darling? You already are pretty," said Betsy. "And that's the way you will be from now on, dear. Don't we look nice wearing the same dresses?" "Mommy," he said, almost crying, "it makes me feel nice in a bad sort of way to wear a dress, even if it looks like yours." "Lift the hem of your dress up to your waist, dear," said Betsy. He did as she told him. "See how pretty your poofy slip is, darling," said Betsy. "Now put your dress down over it again. Doesn't it make you feel pretty knowing that it's under your dress even when you can't see it?" A puzzled look came on his face as he thought about it. "Yes, it does, but it makes me feel ashamed to feel pretty, Mommy," he said. "Maybe it does now, dear, but you'll like it after a while," said Betsy, as she bent down a little to hug him from behind and kiss his cheek. "All little girls like to be pretty." Then she reached around him and slid the closet door open. "See all Mommy's pretty dresses and petticoats, dear. Soon your closet will be filled with just as many as mine. Won't that be nice? You'll be wearing lots of pretty dresses just like all girls and ladies do. And you'll have some pretty skirts and blouses, too." "Mommy," he began, a little unsure he should say what he was thinking. "What precious?" she asked. "Well," he started, "I don't want to be a sissy. Feeling pretty makes me feel bad, too." "Why do you want me to be a sissy?" "Oh, sweetheart, Mommy loves her pretty girl," said Betsy. "Aren't you glad just a little bit that Mommy took you to the beauty parlor and we went shopping together?" He turned around and hugged her around her waist. "No, Mommy," he answered as he started to cry a little. "I don't like wearing girls' clothes. It makes me feel ashamed." Betsy kissed his cheek. "Don't feel ashamed, dear," said Betsy as she hugged him to her. "Mommy will always love her little girl and take care of her. You'll make Mommy so happy." "But I won't be happy being a girl, Mommy," he said. "Yes, you will, sweetheart," said Betsy. "It's just that you've never known before how nice it is to be a girl. Soon you'll start to like wearing pretty panties, petticoats, and dresses." She took a tissue from the sleeve of her dress and dabbed at his tears. That night at supper, Betsy showed him how to hold his fork properly, sit up nice and straight and eat like a little lady without stuffing his mouth, and remembering to use his linen napkin. Betsy smiled lovingly at him as he ate in a dainty fashion. But there was a bit of revengeful satisfaction in her smile also. A boy just like his father, she thought. I wish he could see him now. After supper, Beth helped his mother clean the table and then dried the dishes with a dish towel as his mother washed them. She wanted him to experience a little bit of housework so he'd realize how much she did to keep their home nice and clean. Besides, it was good training for a girl. At 8 o'clock that night, they sat next to each other on the couch to watch Milton Berle. He liked sitting next to Mommy and having her arm around his shoulders. And as the men of Texaco sang their introductory song for the program, Beth felt a little better. It wasn't just having Mommy's arm around him. His bouffant slip and dress were so pretty, and he liked the feel of them around his legs. And when he thought of the pretty white lace on his pink panties, it made him smile a little. Maybe Mommy is right, he thought. Feeling pretty is sort of nice. But then he would think about the fact that he was a boy, and it made him feel ashamed all over again. He wondered who he could play with now. Naturally, he didn't want his pals to know he was a sissy. Mommy had said something about him playing with girls, but he didn't really know how they played. The only thing he had seen them do was play jacks and jump rope in the schoolyard. He decided to wait till the next day and he could ask Mommy. Then Uncle Milty came out dressed like a little girl. But some of his teeth had been blacked out and he looked like a homely girl. Beth and Betsy both began laughing. Later at one point in the show, Arnold Stang said he was cheap, and Berle said, "What the hey?" Mommy started laughing, but Beth didn't catch the humor. Still, it was nice to have Mommy sitting next to him and laughing. He still wasn't glad she had made him a sissy. But everything seemed to be pretty and fun with Mommy. And he loved it when she kissed and hugged him, even if she called him her pretty little girl. When the show ended, Betsy said he had to go to bed, and she held his hand as they went upstairs to his bedroom. She helped him take off his pretty clothes and put on a baby doll nightie. It was pink cotton, and on his chest were 3 white lambs jumping over a brown fence. The panties that went with it had ruffled edges around his legs. It felt very nice when he had it on, but he wondered why girls' nighties didn't cover their legs. Just then Mommy told him she'd get him a long nightgown for cold nights. In the bathroom, she washed off his makeup and untied the ribbon bow on his ponytail. Afterwards she brought him into her bedroom and had him sit at her dressing table while she brushed his hair as she stood in back of him. By the end of the summer, darling, she told him, you'll have a nice long ponytail. Won't that be nice? Mommy, he asked, will mine to be as long as the ones the girls in school have? Yes, honey. But Mommy thinks you're very pretty already, sweetheart, she said to him, and then leaned down from behind him, kissed his cheek and put her arms around him. Not expecting it, he giggled a little, and Mommy hugged him tighter. Oh darling, she said. Mommy loves her little girls so much. Soon we'll go shopping again and I'll buy you some more pretty things to wear. Would you like that? Mommy, he asked, couldn't you buy me just a few boy clothes so I could play with my friends? Oh, no sweetheart, said Betsy. You're Mommy's little girl now. Besides Beth, you'll be playing with girls now. She gave him another kiss and then told him he had to go to bed. Back inside his own bedroom, He climbed up into his bed and Mommy pulled the covers up to his chin. Then she leaned down and kissed him goodnight. He reached up and hugged her around her neck and kissed her cheek, too. After she left, he lay there wondering what dress Mommy would put on him the next day. But it didn't really matter. They all made him feel like a sissy. He started to cry a little bit.